What's going on, everybody? It is September 22nd, Sunday, finishing out the weekend strong with a knife review. This is a knife I've had for about 5 years. This thing came out in 2004 and is still one of the best-selling knives that Kershaw has. I believe it is one of the best values as far as the quality. It's made in the United States. It has good materials, and it runs about $55. To some people, that might be expensive. They say I might want to buy a $35, $40 Ontario Rat 1. Okay, that's fine. And then you can go up to $180, $200. You can go to $450. This knife was gifted to me. But I'm not going to take this on a lake. If I drop it or lose it or break it, it would be horrible. But for $55, they have a dependable knife, the Kershaw Blur. This is the way to go. So as far as the blade length, you're looking at 3.37 inches. Overall, you are looking at 7.88 inches. Closed, it's 4.5. It's pretty slim as far as how it rides in your pocket and everything. I mean, it's comfortable. It doesn't have a very deep clip. We'll talk about that in a minute. The weight in general is 4.2 ounces. I weighed this myself and it just said 4 even on my scale, and it's usually pretty accurate. So it's about 4 ounces, let's say, which to me is not very heavy. I carry pretty big knives, so that's pretty light. The handle material is a 6061 T6, and it's durable and light. So as far as these inserts, they're not G10. I don't know if you guys can get a really good look at that, but it's called TrackTech inserts. That's what Kershaw calls it. And you can feel it. It's a rubbery material. It's very positive traction. I like it a lot. And I've used this knife and carried it through a ton of stuff. You can see some of the wear on this thing. And it looks almost perfect as far as the TrackTech goes. It's awesome. All right. So I really, really recommend that. As far as the thumb studs, that is an Ambit Extras feature, the only one probably on this knife. But I have to say, they are extremely ergonomic. This is a Ken Onion design knife. So when I slide my thumb up, I don't know if you can see that angle, it fits it perfect. With minimal movement, I have the knife out with one hand, and I can be cutting and using it on whatever I need to. Okay, so highly, highly recommend this knife. I'll say that a few times in this review. So over the weekend, I had a lot of people asking me, does anyone have a knife? Do you have a knife? We're going to need a knife over here, stuff like that. And I just threw it to them. It's not the end of the world. So this thing was actually used a lot over the weekend, 2 days. And let's take a look here. It's still pretty sharp. And again, this thing was probably used by 10 different guys. So pretty sharp still. I'll touch it up with the sharp maker at I'll probably say 40 degree inclusive. And we'll get it touched up. So 20 degrees each side. You can see the recurve shape on the blade here, and it's extremely functional when you're pushing away. Just that little curve is a lot more ergonomic as far as a lot less work. It won't slide right off the knife. It kind of gets caught in that recurve, and it's really, really nice when you're cutting rope or you're cutting sticks and making spear points or hot dog sticks, whatever you're making. It's extremely useful. And it's just a subtle thing. So Kershaw calls this the speed safe. So again, it's not a switchblade or anything like that. That's what people think. So it has a spring in there, and you just barely move it, and it moves on its own. Okay, so you can kind of see here the spring pushes it. But once it goes beyond that certain point, it's pretty much locked close. I've never had this knife open on me. Never had a problem with that. Okay. It is a liner lock, you could see here. I mean, pretty good travel. I don't know percentage-wise how much that's crossing the bottom of the blade, but I really trust this knife. Like I said, I've used it over 5 years, and it's always worked. It's never closed on me. This lock has never failed on me. It could happen depending on what you're doing with your knife, but I don't even use it in a way it would close. I'm always pushing it where the blade would open. So I don't put myself in that situation, okay? As far as the coating on here, it is a DLC coating. It just kind of helps with the corrosion. The blade material on this is a Sandvik 14C28N stainless. They do make this in a S30V model, but you're probably looking over $70 for the steel upgrade. This is pretty easy to sharpen. It holds a really good edge. And like I said, I've used the hell out of this thing, and it just keeps cutting. So I love it. It does come in different colors. I think originally in 2004 it came out in black, but I really like the OD green. So as far as some of the cons, I would just mainly say the pocket clip. I wish it was ambidextrous. You know, could Kershaw, could they have put some screw holes over here, move the track tech down? It's also as a lanyard hole, and I don't really use those. But and I know this knife wasn't made for me. I totally get that, but I'm just trying to pick on something because I love the damn thing. But so it's a right-handed pocket clip, so you could do tip up or tip down, but it's only on one side, as you can see. Okay. But because I love the knife so much and it feels so good in my hand and it just works every time and it has a really razor edge on it, I just keep it in my pocket. You know, I mean, I use it a lot. So this is something I can overlook. I wish it was a little deep carrier and I wish it was left-handed. End of story. Okay. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot of cons. The jimping right there is not extremely aggressive. You know, I mean, it's not very functional. It's kind of slick on the aluminum, but when you're holding the knife, I've never had it slip out of my hand or anything, even in the water, and it works just fine. So, you know, could it be a little more aggressive? Of course it could. But I guess this appeals to the masses because it's one of the best-selling knives, I believe, that Kershaw has. It's a great knife. So if you don't have a knife, or you're looking for a knife that you can be pretty hard on, drop it in the water, scratch it up, and it's just going to keep working, I would go with the Kershaw Blur. I highly recommend this knife. Like I said, as far as functional testing, I think I've done everything I could with this, just out in the field, and it just keeps working. There is a spring in there, which springs will fail at some point in its life. And if you go on their website, it says at some point it will fail. You could send it into them. They'll replace the spring, and they'll mail it right back to you. So, I mean, you can't really complain about that. And that's what you get when you go with a company, you know, that's quality, like Kershaw. Okay, so like I said, this thing's made in the USA. It's designed by Ken Onion. So this is the 1670 OLBLK because you got the olive and the black. See that DLC? And that's actually just something on the blade. It didn't scratch off. So it's a drop point with a hollow grind and that recurve. Okay. So I highly, highly recommend this knife. I actually bought this knife for my entire wedding party. I bought it for my best man, and I bought it for my father-in-law. I bought my dad one. I bought them all one for the wedding because it's something they can use for the rest of their life. It's a dependable tool. It's a good name brand with a lifetime warranty, and they all liked it. You know, they all use it all the time, so that's pretty cool. I didn't have it customized or engraved or anything like that. I just wanted to get them something quality that they can carry everywhere and use when they're at work or hunting or fishing or whatever. So this is what I got them, and this is what I recommend you get. At least get one. I'm probably going to look into the S30V version. You can find them on sale sometimes, so I would keep an eye out online. Also, you can check your local knife shops and see if they have any as well. There's a couple places you could find them with blemishes from the factory, which voids the warranty, but you can get them pretty cheap and they still work and they're still razor blades, but they might have a little bit discoloration. So that's something you can really look into. But again, highly, highly recommend this knife, okay? So as always, thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more reviews like this, hit the subscribe button, and there'll be a lot more to come. I have some custom knives coming up here. I have one right here that I'm going to review very soon. This thing is hand forged. Don't want to give away too much information like I already have in a previous video. But have a good rest of your Sunday, and I hope you guys have a good week. Thanks again for watching, as always.